All right. Good morning and welcome to Pilates or afternoon. Today we will just be using a mat. And then if you have a couple of firm pillows, we will for a section of class be working with the pillow underneath the spine, the shoulders, the elbows, just kind of playing around with placing that on top of the mat and underneath the body, just to switch things up, give ourselves a little bit of a different point of contact with the earth. So you can set those to the side for now. We'll start in a standing position. We are going to begin our practice with some balance work today. So it might even be helpful depending on what surface you're standing on. I know a lot of us have a mat on top of the carpet here at home. You might even want to step off your mat. That might even give you a little bit more stability. So if you notice some wobble as you start to move. And of course, feel free to turn your music on if you haven't. So let's just take a couple of inhales and exhales, rolling the shoulders, whatever feels good in your body. Maybe taking the head to one shoulder. Just feeling that gentle stretch in the side of the neck, and then the other. And as we continue, finding some movement in the upper part of the body, maybe rocking forward and back on the heels and the toes, preparing to find that strong, stable stance in the earth, rolling the wrists. We do have kind of a long plank section today also, so just warm those up. And then we'll find mountain pose. So connecting through the earth first, finding that stability as we prepare to work through some balance. Think about grounding through all four corners of the feet, maybe even walking through this with me. First, grounding down through the ball of the foot underneath the big toe. So press heavily into that inner arch. And now to the outer edge of the heel. So now pressing kind of diagonally, feel the thighs start to light up. Now can we rest and press through the outer edges right underneath the pinkies, the outer balls of the feet. And then finally connecting through the inner heel. So as the toes pull up toward the face, really feeling that connection through all 4 points of the feet. As you do, you'll notice that lift in the arch. Now let's softly, gently let the toes come back down to the earth, maintaining that connection and that lift through the arch. Knees pulled up toward the belly, feel the thighs connect. Lifting up, find that slight tuck of the pelvis, hip bones coming up toward the rib cage, feeling the core engage as we find that slight pelvic tuck. And then shoulders come back. As the shoulder blades squeeze, we start to find that softness in the tops of the shoulders and that slight tuck of the chin to the chest. Already feeling a little taller and longer through the body. Middle fingers reach down toward the earth, bringing the shoulder blades down the back even more. So if we are really truly in mountain pose, this is a super active pose. Everything is working. So let's try to maintain that energy in the body. Start coming into the breath. Noticing the belly rise as we inhale. Feel the breath travel up the spine. And as always, that exhale is releasing. It's releasing anything you don't need right now. The rain, the dreary day, inhaling in new energy from the earth all the way up to the crown of the head. Exhaling out all the junk, all the crap. We don't need it. One more time, inhale all the way up the spine. And exhale. Let's bring some movement. On your inhale, sweep the fingertips up and overhead. On our first exhale, let's take that swan dive. So leading with heart, slight bend in the knee, hinge all the way forward, forward fold. Just let the crown of the head hang for a moment as the chest comes toward the thighs. Gently rocking forward and back. And now let's again find that lock in the feet. Press through all 4 corners, really ground down, lift the toes here in forward fold, and then start to lift the hips up, lengthening the back side of the body. Exhale it all out. We'll take a slow roll up this time. Head and hands hang heavy. One vertebra at a time, stacking one on top of the next. And taking that big shoulder roll back. This time as we inhale, sweep up. We'll ground down through that right foot. As we ground down through the right foot, let's just lift the left heel. And then extend that left leg in front of the body. Kind of feeling things out today. Balance and stability are always different in the body day to day. Just embracing any sway that happens in the body. And now let's bring that left leg back in. We'll start to move So let's sweep that left hand down next to the hip, right hand stays up. And as we start to hinge and lean to the right, that left leg is going to come out. So we're looking for this long diagonal line of energy. Softening that standing leg a little bit, allow that bend, starting to squeeze the side body. And sweep back to center. Open and hinge. And sweep back. We'll add on here, as you hinge to the side, sweep the left arm up and overhead. So now we've really got this long parallel line. Now take a little bend, a little more bend into that right leg, and we're gonna squeeze and tuck, pulling the knees in toward the elbow. The elbows in toward the knee, I should say. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, slow and controlled. Pull the elbows toward the knee. Yeah, if you wobble out, come right back. One more time. Exhale, squeeze in front of the body. Pull the belly button to the spine. And release. This time that right hand comes to the hip. Take an inhale, reach from the left fingertips to the left heel. On the exhale, pull knee to elbow. Inhale to reach. Exhale, squeeze and pull that left side body, becoming active here, creating some heat. And again, kind of finding that contrast, lengthening as much as you can. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as tight as you can. And one more time. Squeeze here. Coming back to center, this time knee comes toward the belly button. Let's regain our stability. Press through the palms. We're gonna, again, find a little bend in that right leg. Start some big circles through the hip. So keeping that 90-degree angle with the left leg, opening the hip here, circling the knee behind the body. 3, 2, and 1. And then reverse your circle. Finding that spot in front of you that isn't moving. I think that's my issue right now. I'm watching myself in the camera and wobble, so I'll take my own advice. Find that spot of stillness. And then as the knee comes back to center again above the belly button, flex the foot, pulse that knee up toward the forearm. 6, 5, 4, really feeling this in the standing leg. 2, and 1. Extend that heel in front of the body. Bend the leg, sweep behind. We'll take one big step back, find your lunge. Taking an inhale, sweep the arms up. Let's take a little back bend, be gentle, open the heart, pulling that left hip forward to open the hip flexor. And on the exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Fingertips will come all the way down, flanking the foot. Take one more inhale, hinge all the way up. Open the heart, open the hip. And exhale, release down. This time as we inhale up, we're gonna start tapping. So finding some rotation in the spine, the left hand is gonna tap to the outside of the right foot and inhale back up. Exhale, right taps inside the right foot. So alternating side to side, keeping the belly lifted so that as you come down to twist, the belly never touches the thigh. Everything is pulled up and in super tight. Spine stays long. It's just a hinge and a tap. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, sweep up, one more heart opener. This time as the fingertips come down, we'll ground down through all 10 fingertips, push through that right heel, and the left ankle is gonna tap behind the right. So we'll tap in, big step back, tap in and back. Try to keep the toes light as you tap back. Core super activated here, pressing that right heel into the earth. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift the left toes up and come back, forward fold. Let everything hang for a moment. And when you're ready, start that slow roll up, head and hands hang heavy. Rolling the shoulders back. We'll come right to the other side. So ground down through that left foot, maybe even taking your body through that mental exercise of connecting the corners of the feet, lift the toes. And then when you're ready, just start to lift that leg forward, just finding your balance and stability here. Or right leg forward, sorry. And then come back to center. Let's sweep the left arm up and start to hinge to the side. Again, finding that long line, come back to center. Inhale to open. and exhale. 2 more times here. That gentle bend in the standing leg will give you more stability, help you stay super grounded. This time, as we hinge and that right leg comes out, the right arm comes up overhead also. So reaching with both fingertips. Take an inhale, reach through the heel, feel the length in the right side of the body. On the exhale, start pulling the knee and the elbows toward one another in front of the body. Inhale to reach. Exhale, tuck. Inhale. Exhale. One more. I hope you guys are doing better with this one than I am. I'm struggling with my balance today. It must be the rain, Pam, not getting out. Last one. There we go. And now left hand comes to the hip. Find that long line again. This time we pull knee to elbow. Squeeze, ignite that energy in the right side of the body. Again, finding that opposition, that length, and then that squeeze. 3, 2, and 1. Hinge back to center. Hands come to heart center. Right knee comes up toward the belly button. Flex the foot, pull the toes toward the face, and start to make those big circles, opening the knee behind the body. Find that focal point. Can we soften the tops of the shoulders a little bit more? Just opening the hip here. And reverse your circle. Looks good. 3. Find that stability through the core. That will help you. And last one. Pulse the knee up and up and up. Each time you pulse up, almost feeling the hip bones fold upward. Again, that little space between the hip bones and the belly button working here. 3, 2, and 1. Extend, reach through the heel. And as we start to hinge forward, bend the leg, we're taking that big lunge step back. Find your warrior lunge here. Taking an inhale to sweep up, open the heart, open the hip. Exhale, long spine, hinge forward and tap. Inhale to lift and open. And exhale. This time as we lift up, we'll prepare to cross the body. So as we hinge forward, right fingertips tap outside the left foot. Inhale, lengthen up. Opposite, left fingertips tap. Feeling that rotation in the spine, maybe allowing the gaze to follow the fingertips. Noticing the shape of the spine doesn't change here. The spine stays long and lifted. It's a hinge at the hip bones. 2 more on each side. Last one. We'll take one more inhale to sweep up and open. And as the fingertips come down to the earth, drive that left heel down, right foot steps into tap behind the left ankle and back and tap. Light on those toes, tapping back. Here we are. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift the right toes up, take that big step forward. Go ahead and come to the mat, lower down to the knees. Maybe take a couple of rounds to cat-cow. Feeling nice and warm through the legs. A lot of work and stability for the ankles too, so maybe roll the ankles out here. And we'll dive right into a plank set. So let's start with our hands staggered and just take some nice, slow, controlled push-ups here. Let's take the right hand in front of the left for now. So as you come forward, the left fingertips will be in line with the right wrist. And option, of course, to release the knees. I will probably work here most of the time. I feel like my form is better. If you have the strength to work in good form with your knees lifted, please go for it. We use our inhale to lower toward the earth. Exhale, press up. Inhale to lower. Exhale, press. 4, 5, letting the elbows come out to the sides, chest comes down to the earth. 9, and 10. Come back up, swap. Left hand comes in the top of the right. Inhale to lower. Exhale, press. 4, 8, 7. Belly button really pulled up toward the spine here. A lot connected lot of sensation of connectedness and pulling toward the midline of the body here. 2 and 1. Plant the hands, bring them in line with one another, curl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. We'll flow here, starting with the right toes lifting. So right toes lift up into one-legged down dog. Find that curve in the spine, kind of that cat spine as we come forward. Left knee taps the left elbow. We'll tick-tock, comes to the right elbow, back to the left elbow, and then come to fallen star, rolling to the inside edge of that right foot, or left foot, right leg extends. Bend the leg, come back to center, down dog. Inhale, left toes up. Bend the knee, pull to that right elbow, left elbow, right elbow. Open up, fallen star. Back to center, lift the toes and release. Right toes lift. Hinge forward, right elbow, left elbow, right elbow, fallen star. Back to center, lift the toes, release. Left toes lift. Knee to right elbow, and left, and right. Fallen star. Back to center, down dog, release. Right toes. You know where we're going. We're gonna take a couple more on each side. Keep flowing with your breath. If you feel like it would help you to move a little bit more slowly to maintain more control of the movement, please do so. If you feel like you'd like to move a little quicker, please feel free to do that as well. Wherever you are, we'll take one more on each side of the body. Open. So really focus on that length in the body. Super strong. And release. On the last one, releasing the knees down. Take a couple rounds through cat-cow again. Open the spine. All right. And then we'll press through the hands, just checking the form to make sure the shoulders are right above the wrists. We'll lift the knees up, coming into your first side plank here. Right hand underneath face, always an option to release. We've got kind of a long series, so stay with it. Take breaks if you need. First movement is that hip dip. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Squeeze, lift up here. 1. Mermaid, reach the fingertips up and overhead. Long side body stretch. On that exhale, right hip comes down to the earth or toward the earth. Inhale, lift up and over. Exhale, tap or lower. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more. Exhale. Lift back up right here. We're gonna shoot, bend the knees, bring the hips toward the heels, bend the arm, shoot forward. Bend, shoot forward. Yes, for 3, 2, and 1. This time we'll curl and come under. Left arm is gonna reach under as the hips pike, fingertips tap the right calf, and come back down. Lift up, hips lift and tap. And lift and tap. 2 more. Lift and tap. Stay lifted in that side plank. And cartwheel that arm back to center. Release the knees. We'll walk, kickstand that right leg. Coming to a kneeling position on the right knee, left leg long out to the side. Let's just find a little bit of movement here. Stand up, we'll press the hips forward. Sink the hips back toward the heels. Inhale, open the hips. Exhale, sink back. One more time. Little recovery for the arms here before we go to the other side. This time as we sink back, extend the arms long. So shoulder blades are squeezed together. Start to sit the hips back toward the heel. We're gonna hover just above that right heel. Gaze is down at the earth or your mat. Shoulder blades are squeezed. And we're just gonna find a little pulse here. So just kind of lifting that right hip, maybe adding the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades. Palms toward the earth, fingertips spread wide here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press up and lift. Hinging, right hand comes to the earth. Coming to this kneeling position, we'll take that side body squeeze again. So the left bicep comes toward the left ear. Find that long line. On your exhale, pull knee and elbow toward one another. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. So both movements are active. The extension is active as we reach through the heel. Obviously, the flexion is active as we pull the knee and the elbow toward one another. Yes. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold that squeeze. Squeeze everything here. Hold 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down, come to center. Take a couple cat-cow. We're going to come right to the other side. So we'll meet in down dog and start from there. We're going to take a couple more of those tick-tock moves before we come into our side plank. So let's take the inhale on our left toes up. As we come under, cross to the right elbow, tick-tock to the left, back to the right, open up fallen star. Back to center, lift the toes and release. Right toes lift, whoop, come forward. Tick-tock, other side, fallen star. One more on each side. Left toes lift, cross, tick-tock, open fallen star. Last one. Right toes lift and cross, tick-tock, fallen star, back to center. Right away, lowering into that side plank, left hand underneath the face. Releasing that knee if you like, or staying lifted here. Hip dips, lower and lift. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming right into mermaid, reach up and over. On your exhale, hip comes down or taps. Inhale, up and over. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one. And exhale. As we lift up this time, we'll bend the knees, bring the bum toward the heels, bend that right arm, and shoot forward. Bend the knees, shoot forward. Looks good. 4. Energy in both movements. 2, and 1. Coming right back to center here, we're going to pike the hips up, reach the fingertips toward the left calf. Float back down to your side plank. Lift and tap. This is a lot for the shoulders. I know, we're almost there. And lift and tap. And lower. And lift and tap. Last one. Hips lift and lower. Cartwheel the arms back to center. Release the knees. Let's grab the pillows. One more movement for the shoulders here, or maybe a couple. Let's take the pillows first toward the top of your mat. We're going to set up for dolphin here. So bring the forearms down to your pillows. Hands can either be pressed together in prayer, palms can be down, and we'll walk the feet back. So lifting the hips up, find that dolphin position. So what we find here, whether it's a Bosu ball or pillows, is that we lack the same stability that we would have if our forearms are on an even surface, which makes things just a little more intense. So find that dolphin pose, maybe walking the toes up a little closer. Belly button is scooped in. We're really folded at the waist here. And we'll start to flow. Knees tap to hover, not all the way down. Exhale, lift the hips up, dolphin. Knees tap. So the position of the neck and the head, once we get going, should stay exactly the same. Really almost softening the muscles in the back of the neck, just letting the head hang. If you'd like more intensity, maybe walking the toes even closer and continue to flow here. And the final little adjustment that we'll make in our bodies is to lift up in the thoracic and cervical spine. So lift the heart up through the shoulder blades. Keep flowing for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down here. Take those pillows toward the back of your mat. One more set of push-ups here, and then we'll switch things up a little bit. This time, we're gonna bring the shins, actually we'll bring the knees all the way to the pillows. So we're kind of sitting on the pillows, our shins are resting, and then we'll walk the hands forward. So essentially we're in a supported plank. What this allows us to do is to come deeper. So in this position with our shins lifted, our chest should come a lot closer to the earth. So we'll make that our goal, not how many we do, but really getting closer to the earth here. So let's do the first set with the elbows coming out wide. Inhale, lower down, exhale, press up. Inhale to lower. And rather than just pressing the knees into that pillow sack, can you press the tops of the legs? Really press the shins in. Feel that slight activation in the glutes. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to the top. Rotating in, still stacking the shoulders above the wrist. This time elbows hug into the body for tricep work. Same movement, get as low as you can. Press through the shins, press all the way into the pillows. Inhale to lower, exhale, press. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sink back, take a little child's pose. The pillow can stay right there. As the heels sink back toward the glutes, reaching the fingertips forward toward the top of the mat, soften the back of the neck. Beautiful job. So let's transition into some core work here. You can just come onto your bum. The pillows should be in a pretty good position where they are, if they're toward the back of the mat. Maybe make sure they're stacked up. We're gonna come so that our bum and our hips are right at the edge of the pillow. And we'll just take a simple crunch on this first one. So ground down through the bottoms of the feet, at least hip distance apart, maybe wider. I think you'll know as you start moving where you need to be in your body. And just place the hands behind you and fold the back over the pillows. So let the crown of the head come to the earth behind you. You should feel a really nice stretch in the chest. Now readjust the feet. Make them as wide or as narrow as you need to feel connected through all 4 corners. Taking the fingertips at the base of the skull, elbows are nice and wide. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lift and crunch all the way up, open the elbows. Slowly roll down, 1 vertebrae at a time. And lift. Yes. And low down. So it's a big crunch and a lift. If you feel your pillow sliding back on your mat a little bit, you might need to adjust as you go. And lift. So this is the first time in our practice that we're really starting to play with the shape of the spine. So we get tall at the top, and then we start to curve, reach back through the spine as we come back and find the pillow, come into spinal extension, heart open, and then squeeze everything and come back up. Let's take 2 more big, like this, big rolls. And then as we lower down, maybe reset the pillows. We'll come to that position where you've got that nice long spine, feeling a lot more energy pulling the rib cage in toward the spine. We're gonna pulse up here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Squeeze all the way up. Adding on again, reset the body if you need to. Hands come behind the legs. We'll hinge back until you feel that lower back kind of start to come into the pillow. So we're not really leaning into it. It's just there again as a point of reference. We'll lift the legs up into tabletop. Arms come up and over. Extend the legs. Exhale, pull. So just those double leg pulls here, lengthen and exhale, pull. Never really fully leaning your body weight back into the pillow, just feeling the spine tap the pillow as you extend back. Maintaining that long spine if you can. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold back here. Left or right hand comes behind the head. This time we extend the left arm, and as we tap, right elbow comes toward that right, left elbow taps toward the right knee. So we're crossing the body, and cross, and cross. And if you feel those pillows sliding back, really it's okay, because we're using the core here. Those are just kind of there as, again, a point of reference. As soon as you feel that pillow, you pop right back up. Here we are, last 4, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's come up for a second. We'll reset the pillow. We're gonna fold over the pillow, kind of like we did the first time. So that should feel really good now, really opening the core. Coming into some bridge work here. So again, let's interlace the fingers at the base of the skull. Let the elbows come nice and wide. And let's find some engagement in the upper part of the body first. So squeeze the core, start to lift the shoulders up, elbows stay wide. Now pressing through the heels, hips lift up into bridge and lower and lift. So upper body stays exactly where it is. Hips lift up and tap down and lift and tap. As we lift, it's a big squeeze through the glutes, pressing the hip bones up toward the sky. Press to open. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold right here. We'll walk out. Left leg is gonna walk out long, then right. Press through the heels. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the hamstrings. Left leg taps, comes back in. Right leg comes in. Switch lead. Right leg comes out first, then left. Squeeze and lift the glutes. Right leg back in, and then left. Left leg out, right leg out. Squeeze and lift. Left in, right out, left out. Squeeze and lift. Really working that whole posterior chain here. Left and left. Squeeze, lift, left in. Last one. Right leg out and out. Squeeze, lift, right in and in. Soften everything down. Go ahead and let the head drop behind, open up. Take a deep inhale here. And exhale. Let's roll to the left side of the body. So that left elbow will come down to the earth, kind of kickstanding here. So shoulder is lined up right above that elbow. Right hand comes behind the head. We'll just start to squeeze and lift. And actually, let's walk that forearm away a little bit so that as we lift up, we can press through the palm and extend, straighten the arm. So we're almost maybe pushing that left hand into the earth a little bit at first, but then we'd like that work to be in the side body. So once you feel comfortable, let's transfer that energy to the right side of the body. Just let the left hand kind of be there. Option to stay here or start lifting the legs also. Lifting the knees up toward the elbow. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down. Press up for a moment. We're going to slide those pillows underneath the left hip. So as the left hip comes down, bring that left elbow right underneath the shoulder again. So we're in this side lying position that we work in all the time, but this time with that support underneath the left leg, that left leg is going to float up off the earth. Still finding that lift. We're not slumping and dumping into that shoulder, but we're lifting up and out using that stability. And we'll just start that lower and lift with the right leg. Reaching through the heel, both feet are flexed. Reach for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Point the top leg, point the right toes, start those circles. We'll start small. Still reaching through the left heel, finding some stability in the hips. Maybe that right hand comes to the hip bone, right hip is stacked on top of the left. See if you can make that circle a little bit bigger as you go. Yeah. Focusing on that length in the leg, that stability, that stillness in the hip. Working here. Pause at the center. We'll go reverse. So big circles first in that reverse position. Stabilizing that bottom hip is definitely tougher on the pillow. So focus on that. Start making that circle a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. All right. Now let's release. Take that left arm long, coming into some lateral flexion here. So resting the left head on the left bicep, that right hip feels super lifted. If this is not comfortable for you, you can remove the pillow here. We'll just start with a lift of the legs. So the legs are moving as one unit now. Lift and lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top leg stays lifted, drop that lower leg and lift the lower leg to meet the top. 8, 7, 6, reach through the heels. 3, 2, and 1. Release them down, press back up. We're gonna swivel the hips coming into the opposite side. So right hip on the pillow here. Let's see, we need to do our side lying oblique work first. So I'm sorry, pillows come underneath the rib cage, set up, lift through the right shoulder, left fingertips come behind the body. We'll just start with that squeeze here. Maybe walking that right arm forward to give yourself a little more space. And just as we started out last time, maybe initially using that right arm, that right hand to press into the earth to allow you to pull up and get that elbow closer to the body as you squeeze, but eventually making it more about that side body squeeze, lift and fold. Option to stay right here or add that lift of the legs, crunch and lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold right here. And release down. Press up, slide those pillows underneath the hips. Reset the upper part of the body, shoulders stacked above. We'll start out with both feet flexed, toes pulled up toward the face, lower and lift of the top leg. So if we are aligned and really strong and that hip is stacked, we feel action in the shoulders, we stabilize. We feel that strength in the side of the rib cage as we lift up and out. That right side body is feeling some heat as well for supporting that leg. And then of course that length in the muscles, we're pushing through the heel. So a lot of action in the body here. Lift for 4, 3, 2, pause here, point the top toes, start with small circles. Doesn't matter which direction, we'll hit both. So we start small so that we can really focus on that hip stability. So maybe placing the left fingertips on the hips. When you're ready, start to make that circle bigger and really focus on grounding through that right hip to find that stability in the right hip and the right leg. That circle gets bigger. One more time around. Reverse your circle. We'll start big. And then gradually and slowly make that circle smaller. Great time to check in with that right shoulder. Are we still lifted through the right side body? Everything engaged. That circle is small for 3, 2, and 1. Release the legs down, release that right arm down, head comes to the bicep. We'll start just with that lateral flexion. So left fingertips be light on the earth in front of you. Legs zip together, lift as one unit. And release. Left side body squeeze and lift. And release. And squeeze. Hoping that I'm not messing up my sound as my ear comes down to my bicep here. I apologize if that sounds funky. 2 more. 2. And 1. Legs stay lifted. Lower leg lowers. Squeeze to the top. So really pressing through that top heel. A lot of energy in that leg and hip. Squeeze the thighs. And squeeze for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down, press the body up to a seated position. You can put those pillows to the side. Might be something nice to come back to later. And as we come back to all fours, we're gonna press up to a full plank. Just taking a moment here, reset. We'll take a slow lower all the way down to our belly. Elbows stay hugged into the body. Maybe roll forward on the tippy toes just a little bit so shoulders are in front of the fingertips. Keeping that upper spine lifted, slow and controlled. 8, 7, 6. Rib cage squeeze toward the spine. 3, 2, and 1. Everything is down. Taking the feet about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. We'll just start kind of with an easy cobra just to see where we are with our back extension today. So hands are spread wide right next to the rib cage. Shoulders hug behind the body, shoulder blades squeezed, pressing the tops of the feet into the earth. super strong connection. Thighs and knees lift up. As the hip bones and pubic bone press in, take an inhale, reach through the crown, lift the heart. Start to extend and reach through the spine. Palms are light. And release down. One more time, just like that. On your inhale, lengthen the neck, reach through the crown, shoulder blades squeeze, elbows hug behind the body, and release. This time as we lift up, let's float the hands up off the earth just an inch. Shoulder blades still squeezed. And now let's lift the tops of the feet, squeezing the glutes right here. Arms are going to sweep to the sides of the body. Palms face the hips. Middle fingers really reaching toward the heels. Find that little extra lift in the chest. Now externally rotate the legs so the toes are coming out, heels are toward one another, and the heels will pulse toward one another. As the heels pulse in toward the midline of the body, palms pulse in toward the hips. Same nice long line of energy through the crown, all the way up. Yes, 3 more deep breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Back to center and slowly release everything down. Maybe windshield wiper those legs. Just releasing any compression in the lower back. Coming into skydiver, let's walk those knees nice and wide toward the edges of the mat. Again, big external rotation in the hips. As the heels come together, flex the feet. Let's bring the arms up to a goalpost position on the sides of the body. So those elbows are in line with the shoulders. And as we press the hip bones down to the earth, feel that connection. Press the pubic bone in as much as you can. Squeeze the glutes. Find that connection here first. And then on your next inhale, let's press through the hip bones, lift the knees, lift the elbows up and fly here. Could you press the heels together just a little bit more? Find a little more heat and energy in the glutes. And then on your inhale, we'll reach through the feet, reach through the fingers, find that X shape in the backside of the body, everything lifted and active, and pull back to center, heels connect, and release down. Inhale, everything lifts, and release and open. Come back to center, heels connect, and release. Adding on, inhale here, open. As we inhale, come back to center, heels connect, everything pulses up for 8, 7, press through those heels, you can do it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release everything down, but keep those heels connected. Final movement here. Stack the hands underneath the forearms or underneath the forehead. Forearms parallel with the top of the mat. Just release the forehead down. Now with the upper body soft, just relaxed, press through the hip bones, lift the knees, and just pulse and press up. So heels pressing together, big glute action here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release everything down. Hands come underneath the shoulders next to the rib cage. Press all the way up. Drop to one hip or the other. Find a seated position at the top of the mat. Final little piece of work for the core here. We've already played a little bit with that curve, the extension and flexion of the spine. So maybe just take a little cat-cow here. Gonna feel that in a seated position. And then come with me to find that neutral spine. So tailbone is grounded, sits bones really digging into your mat, crown of the head lifted. Take an inhale to get as tall as you can as the fingertips reach in front of the body. And on your exhale, we'll take that hinge back. Shape of the spine stays nice and long. Pause and hold right here. As you hold, would you tuck the hip bones up toward the rib cage a little bit more? Find that fold and squeeze. We're gonna hold right there. Fingertips come to the center in the middle of the body, finding that twist. Left fingertips are gonna rotate behind, tap the mat. Make that big half circle, staying on the left side of the body. Inhale to open. And come back. Big sweep of the arm. 5, 4, Reconnect in the belly if you feel like you've lost that connection. If you're feeling it in the upper part of the legs and the quads, maybe come up a little bit. Last one. Hands come to prayer. Left elbow taps and tap and tap. Maybe not coming all the way down. I don't quite have the spinal mobility to bring my left elbow all the way down, but certainly feel that energy in the left side of my body. So go where your spine, where your structure will allow you to go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reset right here. Reach. Fingertips connect. Sweep that right arm back and tap. And rainbow up, fingertips together. And tap back. And together. 6 more here. You should feel this not only in the side of the body as we're supporting a little bit extra through the lateral abdominals and the transverse reaching around, but also really this powerhouse, the entire front side of the core is working to hold us in this reclined position. So do your best to stay right there and stay strong. 2 more here. Yes, hands come to prayer, right elbow taps and lift and tap. And sometimes what we find in the body is as we work through different types of spinal rotation in different positions, you might start to feel a little bit more space in the body. That, of course, is always the goal. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slow and controlled, come all the way back up. Let the chest fold over the knees. Maybe the fingertips come underneath the feet. Now really reach through the spine, find that C shape. And then stacking 1 vertebra at a time, coming all the way back to that nice long spine. Pressing the hands into the mat, just scooch the hips back so that we've got some length in the legs here. Ground the heels down into your mat, pull the toes toward the face. We're preparing for roll-ups here. So about hip distance apart. We want to find that nice long spine, and if that means a little bend in the knees so that you can rise up a little bit more, that's perfect. Inhaling at the top, fingertips reach. On the exhale, start to curve through that lumbar spine. Find that curve, toes pulling toward the face. Slow, controlled roll all the way down to the earth. Heels will drag with you. Inhale, reach the fingertips up and over. Exhale, chin tucks to the chest. Squeeze the rib cage, roll all the way back up. And fold over the toes. Inhale here. Exhale, reach through the spine. Feeling the heels drag toward the body. I can hear the sound they're making on my mat. Inhale. Exhale, connect and roll all the way up. Let's take 1 more. Slow roll down on your exhale. Inhale to lift. And exhale. Fold over here. Stack the spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Come back to that nice long extended spine. And this time as we sweep back, we'll come to the forearms and bring the knees up. Bottoms of the feet come to the earth. We'll do just a little bit of tricep work here before we come down. So pressing the palms into the earth, fingertips maybe lifted a little bit. Press through the palms, lift up here. And lower all the way or lower to tap. So we can make this a little bit easier, a little bit less intense if you bring the legs a little bit longer. Of course, your other option would be to press up into tabletop and lower and lift here. Just a different variation to mix it up. But again, the closer the heels are to the bum, the more difficult, the more work it is. So if you'd like to just decrease the intensity so that you can focus on your form a little bit, lengthen the legs a touch. Let's press up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower all the way down. Hug the knees to the chest, sway it out side to side. Last piece of work for today, friends. We're going to release the bottoms of the feet to the earth. Just a little bit of work in bridge. So walking the heels toward the bum. Palms come to the sides of the body, ground down through the palms. Take an inhale to reset the spine. Feel that little space come between the lumbar spine and your mat. On your exhale, press that lower spine into the earth and slowly start to peel all the way up 1 vertebra at a time, coming up into your bridge. Maybe making some adjustments here, walking the feet in a little closer to the bum. And as the hip bones lift up right away, let's squeeze and engage through the glutes. Really opening the chest, maybe slightly rolling the shoulders underneath the body for even more space. We'll ground down through that right foot as that left foot lifts up. Extend the toes toward the sky. We'll lower and make that big circle. So lower so that leg is parallel. Start to pull the knee toward the chest, lengthen and straighten. Big circle with the toes. Hips stay lifted. And maybe gazing down the body, noticing if your left hip wants to drop a little bit as that leg circles, and focusing a little extra attention on keeping that left hip bone lifted. One more big circle. Lift that leg up. We'll cross the right, over the right ankle, left ankle over the top of the right knee, I should say, and just a lower and a lift. So as we continue to work through the glute, also starting to open up through the hip, gently pressing the outer edge of that left knee toward the earth. Squeeze and lift here. 3, 2, stay lifted, right heel lifts, pulse up, up, up. So just a teeny press up through that hip bone. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release everything down, roll the spine down. Let's lift that right foot up off the earth, stay in your figure 4. Fingertips can grab behind that right thigh, taking that stretch while we're here. That left elbow could be pressing the left knee out to open more, taking some ankle rolls, point flexing. And then releasing that right foot to the earth, arms come wide, rolling over that right hip. Just take a couple of breaths here in a little supine twist. Again, maybe dropping the outer edge of that left knee toward the earth more, bringing that left foot to the inside of the right knee and opening in that pretzel position. One more breath. Roll back to center, release the left foot, reset the body. Take an inhale to reset the spine. On the exhale, press the lower spine into the earth. Start to roll all the way back up. Make those adjustments in the body, walking the heels closer. Hip bones press up, glutes engage. And now right toes lift up to the sky. Squeezing and supporting through that left glute. Start that big circle. Drop the right leg parallel. Bend the knee, extend, and reach up through the toes. Draw that circle. So just gazing down the body, we are not worried at all about that right leg being perfectly straight. We're just looking for that action, that movement through the hip, and focusing on that strength in the left side of the body. 3 more circles. Lift just a little more for this last one. And then rest the right ankle on top of the left knee. Start to lower and lift the hips. Just starting to gently open that right hip here. Big squeeze through the left glute. Lift for 4, 3, 2, squeeze up and hold right here. Left heel lifts. Pulse up, up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Right hip lifts up to meet the left. Stay stable. And last one, lower the heel, lower the spine, fingertips behind that left leg, and pull into your figure 4. Yes. Beautiful work. Whenever you are ready, you can drop that left foot, bringing the arms wide, rolling over the left hip to your supine twist. Keeping both elbows anchored onto your mat. Maybe dropping the outer edge of that right knee toward the earth. Outer part of the left foot on top of the leg, coming into that little pretzel position in the legs, if that feels good. One more inhale. And start to float back to center. Let's release that right foot. And now dropping both knees wide. Supta Bandha Konasana. Connect the heels, connect the balls of the feet. Close the eyes. I invite you here to maybe place the hands on the belly, or one hand on the heart, one on the belly. We'll spend a couple of moments here. And starting to come back to that natural breath. Let's notice what we're feeling in our body. Often we jump right to identifying places in our bodies where we feel like we're holding on to tension or maybe experiencing discomfort. So rather than begin our focus there, let's focus on a place in your body right here, right now, that feels amazing. Maybe it feels great because you feel like you've worked out some kinks. Maybe it feels great because you feel strong. Just take a breath into that area. And then maybe focusing the breath on an area of your body that's a work in progress. Lower back, maybe the knees, a hip, shoulder, part of your body that you're still taking care of. Yeah, a work in progress. We all get there eventually. When you're ready, rolling to the right side of the body, finding that fetal position. And take your time, pressing all the way up. Find a seated position. Easy seated position, Sukhasana, or maybe sitting on the knees. Just close the eyes. Spend another moment or two here with us. Maybe today will be one of the days that it feels just a little bit more difficult to get out of our own heads and really find the gratitude and joy in what's around us. Maybe a little more challenging without the sunshine. So we might need to sweep the corners today, find some little pieces of joy in other places, knowing that each day is a new day. Take the opportunity to be exactly where you are today because it's where we're supposed to be. Hands coming to heart center. The warrior in each of you is also within me. Let us honor one another. Namaste.